trying to be Conor clones now?
Well, I was just telling Kim, my PR guru here in Boston, I said, do you remember when, I brought Conor out here and they were talking about, you said this kid was going to be a big star and everything else, and he's a global rock star now.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid is massive. So I saw the potential there as far as his personality went. The question was, could he come in and could he fight and could he beat the best in the world?
What do you make of him saying that he wants to wait until September? I mean, meanwhile, there's people who obviously he's holding that belt, and people are going to want a shot. What do you make of that?
I said going into the Mayweather fight, we'll see if this kid ever fights again, after this type of a payday. Conor's made well over $100 million in fighting in less than 5 years.
Right.
So pretty amazing. And fighting is one of those businesses that are really tough to get out of bed and get punched in the face every day when you got $100 million in the bank.
Yeah.
But no, he can't hold the title. He can't hold up the whole division. Listen, there's a lot of guys that I have to deal with every day that aren't worth the aggravation. This kid is worth the aggravation, and
right.
and I have so much respect for him, what he's accomplished and what he's done. If he wants to ride off into the sunset with his money for the rest of his life, I don't blame him. And if he wants to come back and fight, we'll get him back in. He just can't hold the division hostage for.
Well, how do you stop that from happening? Like, what do you do? Because Conor's the biggest
name. You take
name.
the belt. And Ferguson, see, but in any sport, it's like the NBA, the NFL, hockey, or whatever it might be. No one guy can hold a whole sport hostage. It just doesn't happen. When Conor was getting ready for this Mayweather fight, I'm already making plans for Conor to never come back.
Right.
The company and the business goes on, and there will be other stars, and there will be other. The NBA didn't roll it up and pack it up when Jordan left. You know? And they won't when LeBron goes either, and the list goes on and on.
Well, do you think that? I'm sorry, Rich. Do you think that Mayweather tried in that fight in the beginning of it?
Of course he did.
Okay, you don't think that he kind of?
Because he's even said that he laid back.
Of course he didn't. There's no way. Do you think that Mayweather really took that uppercut?
That's what I said.
That was part of his. He wanted to take. Conor can punch, and Floyd is a great defensive fighter. He's a great fighter. No man's going to let another guy with that kind of power come in and just land shots on him. Floyd is famous for not wanting to get hit.
Right.
He didn't want to get hit by him. There's no way in hell.
You don't think though that he thought he could carry him? He could carry him for a little while.
I think that Floyd tried to coast through the early rounds and not engage with Conor, so that Conor would get tired. Conor's never been 12 rounds.
Right.
He's never fought in a boxing match. It's common sense. I'm going to take this guy into the later rounds where I've been for 20 years.
Sure.
Floyd's been in those later rounds for 20 years.
Right.
Conor's never done it.
Right.
And they both have to be aware that the only way that they could make that type of money off of one fight again is if they fought, except this time in the octagon.
Yeah,
correct?
The thing is, too, that's the other thing. Floyd, historically, doesn't care what you think when the fight's over.
Right.
He doesn't care if you think his fight was horrible.
Bored. Right.
His fight sucked. He doesn't care.
Right.
He got paid, and he'll get paid again next time, too. So Floyd's not saying, let me make this exciting for the fans, and I'll carry this guy for 3 or 4 rounds.
Right.
That's not Floyd Mayweather.
Unless they were setting up a rematch.
There won't be a rematch. I'm not interested in the rematch.
What about in the octagon?
I want no. Oh yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Of course, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the reason I bring that up is that this is something that has kind of been floated out there.
Mayweather wouldn't do that.
He'll never do that.
No, in a million years, because he can't. I mean, he doesn't. That's a situation where he probably couldn't win in any circumstance.
Not from James
He
Toney.
absolutely doesn't win, but he absolutely, positively gets hurt badly.
Yeah,
he gets hurt bad. Taking a shin to the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather, shin to the face, leg kicks, all that stuff. That guy has $300 million in the bank.
Right.
Last thing he wants is a shin to the face.
But you've been talking to people,
or an
right?
elbow to the head.
Am I reading it wrong? But this is something that isn't exactly a non-possibility, right?
After making that first fight, nothing is impossible. But the money would have to be like nothing you've ever seen in sports for Floyd to come out and take a shin to the face.
It would be, because I think that would make more money than the first one. Because
I agree.
The reason that people watch that is, for the most part, 90% of the people wanted to see Floyd Mayweather get his ass kicked. Just a chance of it.
100% of people in this country and other parts of the world want to see him take a shin to the face. 100%. And they will pay whatever they have to pay to see it.
Absolutely.
That I know.
And if I'm Mayweather, I'm saying I'm in my 40s. I'm worth more. I fake hold up wads of money and act like they're cell phones. Do I really want to have someone knock me unconscious?
Yeah, no. Well,
break my leg.
Picture Conor kicking this guy to the face, getting the mount on him, and dropping elbows on his face. I mean,
not a chance.
You're talking about damage to Floyd Mayweather that he'll never want.
What about a Nate Diaz rematch? Because everyone's, if you look at the fights that Conor McGregor could make extremely good money, not Floyd Mayweather in the octagon money, but everyone wants to see a Nate Diaz.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm taking him to the game tomorrow night at Khabib. People right now would love to see Conor McGregor versus Khabib, the Russian.
Yeah.
And that would be a massive fight. I can do that fight in the United States, and it's big. And if I did that fight in Russia, there isn't a stadium big enough in the country for that fight.
For people who don't know this guy, for the casual fan, can you tell us a little bit about him?
Khabib Nurmagomedov, and he's a Russian, and he literally just fought this guy who is a literal badass, this Brazilian. And he literally walked right through all of his punches. The Brazilian hit him with a shin kick to the head, walked right through it, hitting him with grabbed him, put him on the ground, and absolutely destroyed him in this fight. And he does that to everybody he fights. And everybody has been waiting to see a fight with him and Conor. People believe that this guy will maul Conor McGregor. But that's what people always believe about Conor. Conor has gone into every fight that he's ever fought in the UFC, even the last fight with Eddie Alvarez. Joe Rogan picked Eddie Alvarez to win that fight, and everybody else did, and Conor made it look easy. Then Eddie Alvarez turns around, and I don't know if you guys saw the fight with Justin Gaethje. One of the sickest fights you will ever see.
Crazy.
Toe-to-toe. And they went for 3 rounds, and then finally Alvarez knocks out Justin Gaethje, who was 18-0. Conor made it look easy when he fought Eddie Alvarez. Conor McGregor is an incredible fighter who does not get the credit he deserves because he talks so much. People think he's all talk. He destroyed Jose Aldo in 13 seconds.
Yeah.
Nobody else has ever done that to Jose Aldo.
Yeah, and I think Nurmagomedov, the fight against Edson Barboza that you're talking about, that just happened.
Exactly.
People will say, hey, if you fight Nurmagomedov, you can fight him on the feet, you might be able to damage him, and I think he damaged some of that thought now going into a possible fight with McGregor. Is Ferguson Nurmagomedov going to happen?
Yes. That fight is going to happen. Look at you. You know your stuff.
That's why he's here.
Exactly. He's sitting to your left.
Right. He's in here to go over everyone's heads in their audience.
There it is.
So, yes, that fight will happen.
Brooklyn?
That fight. Yes. Look at you.
Nice.
Wow, this is refreshing.
I am obsessed, and I'm going to ask you a question that is not educated.
I'm not surrounded by 3 dumbasses.
Sorry, guys, I'm done here.
And to your right is the dumbass who's about to ask a really stupid question. Do you have people, Dana, on the, I got to think that there's people come up to you all the time and thinking that they can fight. Do you ever get any of these, I'm thinking Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite type audition videos that people give you?
So that's funny, yes. But where that really happens a lot is when we do tryouts for The Ultimate Fighter.
Okay.
You should see the guys and the girls that show up for The Ultimate Fighter. It's pretty fun.
Do you keep any of these audition videos just for your own personal enjoyment to laugh at?
We thought about doing a show that where we had the auditions. And we just never have. Yeah,
America's Worst UFC audition.
Well, it's like American Idol. When they do the people that show up, we have those kind of kooks that show up too.
Like a lot of backyard wrestling, like guys just breaking tables in their back, like Buffalo Bills fans, essentially.
Yeah,
tailgating outside.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
you know what we were talking about when we were talking about, and he'll know this, but when we were talking about NFL players playing, do you guys have any idea? The man that is involved in the heavyweight fight this weekend and what's going on?
Are you talking about Ngannou?
Francis Ngannou?
Oh, he was in studio with us. He's a monster.
Right? That guy look like the heavyweight champion of something, or an NFL player, or the guy is a beast.
Like Cormier was in here, he just kind of looks like a dude, but I've seen him fight, and he's a monster.
Right.
And Ngannou comes in here, and he's an action figure.
Yeah, it was kind of unfair to have Cormier next to him.
Cormier looked like he was like 120 pounds.
It was like the movie Twins almost.
I know.
Cormier didn't look like he was 120 120 pounds.
Right.
No,
No, you're not.
he looks like he was plenty big.
But Ngannou is a
But
monster.
you're right. You know, Daniel Cormier is an absolute machine,
Yep.
but doesn't look the part.
No.
Right.
You know? And Ngannou looks the part and is the part. The punch that he landed on Alistair Overeem almost
awesome.
beheaded him.
Right.
It's one of the craziest. Like when you see it's like a knockout you see in a movie that's like, that would never happen in real life. It actually happened in real life with Francis Ngannou. This is probably the best heavyweight championship fight we have ever had, because Stipe Miocic is on the road to breaking the title defense record and knocks everybody out himself. This fight is ridiculous this weekend here in Boston.
Dana, Miocic said the other day that he thought you guys wanted him to lose.
Listen,
What's going on with that?
because when you have a guy like Francis Ngannou that comes out and is who he is and does what he does, and you make this fight, all fighters are paranoid.
Right.
They're all paranoid. How can I make Stipe lose? Only Stipe can make Stipe lose. We put together the fights with the best fighters in the world, and then they go out, and whoever wins, wins, and whoever loses, loses. It's up to Stipe. It's not up to me of whether he wins or loses.
Right.
And Stipe is one of the nicest guys in the world. I like this guy. We've butted heads as far professionally, as far as business goes, in the last year and a half. But other than that, he's a super nice guy. But I butt heads with everybody at some point professionally, one way or another. I don't wish anybody to win or lose. The only time I've ever had that kind of, gotta hope he gets his ass kicked tonight is Tito Ortiz.
Yeah.
Me and Tito Ortiz had a horrible relationship.
You guys had a personal relationship, though. That's what, manager and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And that's,
we went back a long way. We completely hated each other. We were very public about it. But, there's no other fighters like that I feel that way. Luke Rockhold and I don't have a great relationship either,